Alyce, welcome to the show. Very happy to have you on. We've got lots of things to talk about tonight, and I'm so excited to hear about all the things that have been happening in your world. But just to give some context, just in case anyone doesn't know you, well, I think that's doubtful.
Yeah, I think it's a fair assumption.
Well, maybe. Why don't we talk about your first business, The Daily Edited, which I know you've just exited, just very recently. So maybe talk a little bit about how that came about and just sort of summarise what it was and then where you are right now.
Okay, cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I met Steve Grace when I was a lawyer at Deutsche Miller. And interestingly, the business The Daily Edited was a side hustle to my career as a lawyer. It was a hobby business. It was at first a clothing line that, didn't go anywhere commercially. And then I had the idea to create some accessories that I needed when I was promoted, thinking that I'd be invited to all these meetings with people like Steve Grace, and I need to get business cards out of a business card holder and have a nice compendium to get my notebook out. I went, into market and I was like, I can't really find anything that I can afford. It was either Officeworks, which is not, stylish, or Louis Vuitton, right? Which I couldn't afford even though I thought I was doing okay as a lawyer. So in came the accessories range, and I have a co-founder in that business, and she and I created this line, and I love personalisation, and I've always loved it. I got my first personalised Louis Vuitton bag, how ironic, from my gay uncle when I was 16 years old, and I was like, it would be really cool if we can personalise these for people.
Yep.
So got a basic monogram machine, looked up on, videos on YouTube, worked out how to monogram, didn't do a really good job of it, but put that product up on Instagram and it just blew up.
Did you monogram it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
At the start.
Yeah.
And then within the course of a year, the business just blew up. This pivot into accessories and fashion accessories really worked. And I resigned from my job as a lawyer in June 2015, worked for one of Steve's friends, Paul Miller.
You actually were involved in the sale of my first business.
Exactly. I was there.
Yes.
So go into Paul Miller's office and I'm like, I'm leaving. Anyway, so that was 2015. The business grew really rapidly. It went up to a $30 million turnover business within 3 years.
Awesome.
Stores across Australia, a retail partnership with David Jones with concessions, stores in Westfield, Sydney, down in Melbourne in Chadstone, and a store in New York. At one point, a couple of stores in Singapore.
Yep.
So the business was mainly online with retail, and the product range grew from anything from a personalised phone cover through to personalised luggage. So it was
How many did you have in the end? Because it was a lot, right?
Like 1,200 SKUs towards the end. So quite a large... So it was a fantastic business because I made everything that I wanted to. I left no stone unturned. The last set of products that I put into design and production were like a comb with a cover, reusable straws, a reusable coffee cup, all these things that I felt like I needed and hadn't been fully accessorised yet by someone. And I'd always wanted to exit that business. I never thought that I was going to have that forever. Mm-hmm. I was building it towards an exit to, whether it was a strategic partner or a PE or whatever it was. And it ended up that my co-founder wanted to be the buyer of that business.
Yep.
So she purchased the business from me. And here we are now, and that deal was done 3 weeks ago, so we're hot off the press.
So hot.
And I haven't actually done much press because I need to decompress from the whole thing. Really exciting time for me, and I have been, to be honest, scared of becoming irrelevant or scared of losing my touch or...
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Totally. And I didn't know when that deal would be finalised. So in my fear of not having anything to do, I said yes to everything. So side note, in 2019, a friend from school, from Adelaide, I'm from Adelaide, came to me and she was like, I want to do a homewares brand. And I was like, dude, I have no time for that.
Yep.
I've got, hello, do you not see on Instagram I've got this other business? And she's like, oh, no, please do it with me. And I'm like, no. Then I started organising. I've been organising events and things for TDE for a long time. So an influencer lunch or product launch, whatever it is. And I actually did feel there was a gap in the market for beautifully designed table tablewares that had a fashion aspect to them.
Yep.
So I was like, I said to my friend Brooke, fine, I'll help you. Like, I won't do a lot of heavy lifting. Like, you know, my quite time poor.
How did that work
This will
out?
have to be, I do everything. She's got 2 children under 2, you know. Anyway, so it's a tabletop homewares brand called In the Roundhouse, which has gone really well. Stocked in David Jones nationally, working on a big deal in the US, which is very exciting. Had a call with them today. Going really well. Obviously, I need not say anymore why it blew up last year.
Yes.
Everyone eating at home, wanting to have, you know, fresh things. I mean, surely eating off the same plate for 3 months, you were like, even you were like, come on.
It's no good. It's no good at all.
You know, like, step this up. So everyone's obviously stepped up their home game and the brand's actually gone really well. And obviously that wasn't intentional. We've fallen into that, which is fantastic.
And are you making all the things you wanted to ever make in homewares now?
But you know what? I've given myself parameters. Only on the table.
Nothing else.
Only if it's on the table, and it has to be made out of a ceramic, and I'm allowing myself to do some napery and cutlery, but I won't go glassware. Because I feel like there are tons of people doing that, and I won't do candles. There's too many candles.
Well, way too many candles.
But everything else?
No cushions either. There's
No,
too many
because see,
cushions in
I've
the way.
gone, you know, that comes off the
That's
table,
on the
so
chair,
I've just
right?
got to, no. So I've learned some lessons there, and also with TDE, there's so much product handling with the personalisation. I'm like, I don't ever want to have that
Personalised
level
plates.
of double. No, people keep saying that to me. They think that's where I'm going to take the brand, and I'm like, I'm resisting because it's so easy because I have all that expertise in how to create these workflows and stuff around personalisation, and it's very tempting.
Are you going to make? What about name tags for those?
No, you
big
draw it.
dinners?
You write it on yourself. You can order a party box from In the Roundhouse with the plates and napkins, and I send you blank place cards for you to write it yourself.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you're totally steering, just not going to do it.
Yeah, I will.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, we want to just drop ship with little touch, like, you know, from factory into warehouse to customer, really, like really simplify the process. So I've got that going on.
How have you found that transition? Because I sold to my business partner as well, and it is a very emotional thing which you don't realise, which, as you know, you're still decompressing on. How have you found the transition from one business to another business, which is not, it's not the same at all? I mean, there's similarities, but not really. There's no real similarities. It's a different business.
It's just different. It's like you're starting again.
Yeah. Do you find you feel like you don't know stuff again?
No, okay, there's certain things where you're like, Jesus, and you know, you've been paid out and stuff, and you're like, great, right? Like, you know, cool. And so it makes it a lot easier this second time around because you're not working with nothing, and and it's easy. You've got contacts. It's you know, all of that stuff. But then the other day I had to set up my own printer, you know, because I haven't like bought a PA or anyone in yet because I don't really know what my workflow and stuff is right. And even if I had bought my PA out of retirement, like what should be, I don't know what she would do yet.
Set your printer up.
Some invoicing, things like that.
Did you call her about the printer?
Well, it's actually second time around. Went to JB Hi-Fi, lugged a printer home, turned it on, and it just sort of connects to Wi-Fi in your laptop. I'm like, oh, it's a lot easier than it was 5 or 6 years ago. And also, they're only $99 now, and I'm like, this is so cheap. Yeah, so just certain things like that where you feel like I feel like I don't have people to call.
Yep.
So by the time I left TDE, the team had been built up quite a lot. There were a lot of people there for me to like turn to for this, that, and the other. And now I'm kind of like running around out cold.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird.
But I am building a team again very quickly as, you know, things are sort of progressing really well within the Roundhouse. And I've taken on, even during my time at TDE, we were using this thing called Reward Style. It's an influencer marketing platform. Okay, it's a two-sided sort of piece of technology that brings brands and influencers together.
Like a marketplace kind of thing?
Yeah, not a marketplace. It's an affiliate marketing network.
I'm with you.
And so they reached out to one of my friends to see if she wanted to sort of start that business up in Australia. So it's huge in America. They've got 500 employees. The platform does like 10 billion in sales in America. Like it's a well-established business, but they want to obviously roll out globally. So now I'm helping them with their strategy on how to grow out their presence in Australia, which brands to work with here in Australia, how to onboard the influencers, that kind of thing, which is exciting. And I've been able to grow that team and sort of talk to people on a daily basis, which means it's kind of nice because I've got a little bit of purpose.
It's a people business too. It's very different.
So it's great though, because otherwise I'd just be sort of, what would I be doing sitting at home on my laptop?
It's not good sitting at home. Not in winter. It's too cold.
Yeah.
If it was summer, maybe so, but not in winter.
Yeah. So that's great.
You're doing both things at the same time, right?
Yeah. And then you announce on social media that you're kind of like you've exited a business, and then all of a sudden all of your friends want some consulting. And for the first time in a long time, I actually have time to give to them, and it only will be a finite window, I believe, because I'll obviously build up other businesses in this time. So I have allowed myself to consult with a few of my friends. One of them is a fashion designer, Michael Losordo, who had his presentation as a part of Fashion Week last night.
Yep.
So sort of helping him over the last couple of weeks. And another friend of mine, Steve Cordoni, who is big in interiors, who's a big interior stylist on Instagram, is the editor-at-large at Belle, sort of helping him work out what his strategy is on essentially leveraging the profile that he's created, which has been super interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm busy.
Well, that's good. I think busy is imperative.
Yeah.
When I finished, I wasn't busy for about 4 months, and I started to go slightly insane. And it was winter as well, so I know what I'm talking about. So I got as busy as I could. So I think it's good that you're busy, and it will take you a little while to work it out. What do you reckon is out of all the things that you've done since you stopped being a lawyer, what do you reckon has been the hardest thing? Was it taking the step to go? Was it building it? Was it exiting it? Or is it now when you're not sure where you're going to go? What do you reckon has been the hardest out of all those?
Probably the exit and the... we all know that exit was, not as nice as it could have been.
They never are.
Yeah. That was probably the hardest time in my life.
Yep.
And... I'm like, I'm not almost ready to talk about. I probably need some therapy or something. I probably have PTSD. So I don't know.
We can do that live right now.
Yeah, we can, well, let me do that with a professional. No offence. But that was the hardest time in my life. And, the media got wind of what was happening, and it was awful. And, to me, nothing I go through will be as hard as that.
Yeah.
No, anything that anyone says to me about me, or actually it's changed my perspective a lot. When people say things about another person, I'm like, give them the benefit of the doubt, know? It really put a lot of things into perspective, like who's important in your life, who believes in you, how hard things can get. Like, that was pretty hard. And so, like, everything now is, like, easy. If someone says something to me, I'm like, that doesn't touch the sides.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Well, that's good. That's a great thing, right?
Exactly.
And one of the questions we normally ask is there any belief you've had that has changed over the last few years? There's one right there, I guess, in that you probably have a different view about other people.
Exactly. And what people...
and what you say yourself.
You read headlines and things and you're like, oh, my God. But then, there's always two sides to every story, that kind of attitude. I never really had that. It's not like I was out there judging people.
Yeah, just hadn't thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. And in terms of these businesses that you've got now, do you think that all these friends that you're helping now, do you think that one of those is going to become your main thing, or do you think that you're going to find something new? You just got no idea?
What I loved, I've kind of articulated this a little bit, and people will see in my email signature, or they may have seen on social media, this thing, OAT, Office of Alyce Tran.
I love that.
So I'd love to, and what I enjoyed about the Daily Edition was the creative direction and the creative strategy around how to grow up that business, and then building a team to assist me with growing that vision, and, driving, having basically managing a bunch of people to...
And the space. I remember when I first came to your office, the first time since when I walked in, and it was an insane, and you were still pretty new then.
Yeah.
You'd created this insane space.
Yeah.
And it was that beautiful, it was Alexandria, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was that beautiful sort of...
glass.
Describe it. It was white, it was bright, there was lots of timber, there was a creative area. Your office was beautiful.
Thank you.
I remember it was all glass, and it was a space where you felt you could work, right? Which obviously lends itself, unusually for a lawyer, to go from the sort of boardrooms and books to this incredibly bright, creative space. There's two very interesting sides to you there, right? Because, you're a very successful lawyer, and then you're a very successful creative businesswoman. It's an unusual combo.
No, I think that is why I don't want to sound like a tool, but why I'm extremely investable, because I am able to do both sides. And I have realised that is very rare. Only now. But it's been great because people have allowed me to do that. I've been able to become my full self, which is really...
You've completed yourself.
Yeah, I've completed it. That's exciting. So back to that, like, what is going to happen? I would love to have a portfolio of brands.
Okay.
Yeah. So whether or not...
That's exciting.
Yeah, whether or not how people plug into Office of Alyce Tran is I haven't really structurally worked out. I'm sure Paul Miller will help me with some documents.
I'm sure he will.
But yeah, that's what I would like to do. I'd love to be able to assist, creative direct, assist with strategy, and find the shortcuts for all of these brands, that I have equity in, or that I control wholly, or whatever it is. It's very interesting looking at structures where this has worked, and there have been times where people have put this together and it doesn't work because, there's no full creative sort of vision or whatever it is. But, I'd love to take that journey and see what I can do, because ideally, I know this is crazy and this is like the blue sky dream.
Crazy is good. Come on.
It's a roll-up of lifestyle brands that then lists.
Has anyone ever done that?
Yeah, to a degree. I guess the closest example to it is BWX with the pharmaceutical brands. That's a fantastic roll-up, and that's inspirational for me. Inspirational for people like she's left the business she's 3 weeks out, like she has I don't know what I'm doing. It's not like I know what I'm doing there, but that is...
It's a family office with mentoring, with creativity, all sort of brought into one, and then you're going to go out. So if anyone's out there, right, with a creative brand who wants your help, they're all going to come calling at you now because you've just thrown it out there.
I actually have had some interesting businesses come to me where I've bought their product and they know I like it because it's featured in shoots at my house and things like that. And, I'm looking at things. Yep. Because...
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, if I can help, great. But if, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. But, I didn't know what I was doing with the Daily Edited and it worked out okay. So I just have to, have a bit more confidence with that.
I think your confidence has grown a lot since you started the Daily Edited. And like you said, you've completed yourself, right? So
No, I didn't. I mean, that's what I mean. I've never been confident enough to say that because I think a lot of the time women as well, young women are like, you don't want to overstep. I never want to overstep, or I never want to overstate. But and then you always put yourself down.
Yeah, well,
I think women do that. They play.
Oh, look, I think women do that, yes, but I think entrepreneurs do that. I think imposter syndrome comes up a lot on this show, and I think everybody has that. And I'm on my 4th business. I still have no idea what I'm doing in my own head, and I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I think people always feel like that. And then other times you feel like you do. I think that's just normal human behaviour. You would have had that imposter syndrome many times, I'm sure. Did you just push through it? Is that how you got through it?
Yeah, but I obviously have no fear or something, because someone has said to me, your risk appetite is so high. You're just like, yeah, I'll just do it. And I just don't think I have time to dwell on things because I am so busy that I just want to get things done, and as a result of getting so many things done, I just keep pushing forward.
Yep. And I guess do you have any advice for anyone who gets that when they take that? So let's go back to your first step, right? So you resigned from Paul Miller and off you went into TDE, right?
Yeah.
That was a big moment. Then when you decided to exit, that was a big moment. How have you pushed through those big moments? Have you just done it?
Just done it.
Is that purposely not thought about it, or do you just feel you find that that's something you're able to do?
I don't like... And this may be my detriment at some point. So, if a psychologist is looking, going, oh my God.
Well, but you can go through that when you do your...
Yeah, I don't think about it that much. I go, this is the right decision.
It's gut.
Yeah, and it'll be okay. I obviously, I'm okay with the decisions that I make.
That's good. And did you always have that? So when you were in your corporate career, did you have a similar sort of... Did you go down that same route? So when you decided to go into corporate and commercial, was that a conscious decision when you were at uni, or did you go, no, I'm definitely going to go, or I'm going to go litigation, or I'm going to go...
I kind of knew because, you get the chance to experience different things.
Yep.
So, with something like the Daily Edited, it wasn't like there's no business and I'm just going to leave my job as a lawyer and go into this.
No, it wasn't.
It was already a very meaningful business. So it was like, oh, and now I'll do this. Same with... the legal stuff, you do a clerkship, you do these rotations, and you're like, oh, well, I just do this. So it's not without any level of planning. Things are sort of built up to a level that are viable before I make before I sidestep. But I think the way people are seeing it is like I'm taking all these big risks, but I don't feel that I am because
calculated.
It's already there.
But I believe risk. So someone asked me about entrepreneurs the other day and whether they were born or made, and I think entrepreneurs make themselves through their own experiences and their confidence grows, which is where you're at now, right? I don't think you're necessarily taking big risks. I think you're making decisions based on things that you know, having experienced what you've experienced.
Exactly.
And if someone hasn't experienced that, they may go, that looks like a massive risk.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that you're right. You're right. And I think that's where people. The number one interview question that people ask me is like, "How did you leave your job as a lawyer?" And I'm like, it wasn't like that. It was like a transition, you know, like rather than. Yeah.
I remember I was just upset I'd lost a lawyer at the same time, but yeah. And look, the business changed drastically, didn't it, from when you left to when you left it again? It's such an exciting time for you. I'm really fascinated to see how the office.
I know,
Alyce
God,
Tran
I'm really
goes.
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's a bit freaky, but like I'm sure, like through sheer determination and working really hard, that something will happen.
Well, that tends to be the one consistent answer you get out of everyone that comes on this is sheer determination and working really hard. There's no other way around it, right? And even though now you've got a profile and you've got, I guess, all this experience behind you, it's still going to be just as hard, and you're still going to have to work as hard. And
exactly. There will be ugly products I make. I'm sure that people are like, what is that?
Well, just monogram them, right?
Yeah.
Ugly, just monogram them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you came on. I really am. I've been wanting to just catch up with you for ages anyway. And it's nice.
Genuinely.
But it's nice to hear what you're actually doing as well. I think, you know, when I asked you, I didn't know we were going to be sitting here talking about this. So it's even more exciting.
Oh, really? What did you think we were going to?
Well, I thought we were just going to be talking about TDE. So, because it was
there's so many interviews on that already, so it's kind of like...
True, that's true. But we planned this ages ago because I have to, otherwise people never show up. So you've got to give them loads of notes.
Yeah.
So, a lot happened in between that and that, right?
And, you know, interestingly, I kind of was like, oh, God, will this still be the case? And I'm like, it's so far out, who knows?
Yeah.
When you first emailed, I think I looked up the email today and I was like, when did you email about this March?
It was ages ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's when when I went to email you this morning to just tell you that it was quite cold in the studio today, I was like, oh, I can't use that email address.
Yeah.
Where's your Gmail? I've got it here somewhere. Did you get it?
It's my LinkedIn.
Yeah, I got it off your
bio.
LinkedIn. I got it off your... And I just texted you. It was the easiest way.
Exactly.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I wish you so much luck with this and the OAT. I really like that.
All right, it sounds obnoxious. I don't want to come off as
I don't think it does. I mean...
look, it's just...
You never named a business after yourself, so I don't think OAT, that's fine. It's good. Good luck with it all.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to seeing what happens.
Thanks.